This is the second Almasi African Playwrights Conference. We have 3 really powerful playwrights, very, very different, all coming at the work with really powerful voices.
What Rudo and Farai and Patrick have shown me is incredible, that I want to take it back to the States and share.
We're getting feedback and dramaturgical assistance for the plays that we've written. And we're going to do a few drafts, and then we're going to get actors, and then the fun begins. It doesn't always sound the way that you think it does. So it's a good experience because you get feedback, you get an idea of how an audience is going to react.
I wrote the script, but I needed the feedback to know how does it feel, how does it sound.
Very rarely do you get a chance to have a draft of your play being read by actors, professional actors reading it out loud, and also even have a chance to have a director and a dramaturg and actors in the same room giving you feedback about your play.
And I could see maybe where the weaknesses are, deficiencies, things which need to be added, and also the feedback that I got.
The play essentially looks at the land question in Zimbabwe and the idea of identity.
This is our ancestors' land. It belongs to us.
Congratulations. Yeah.
I'm a bit anxious, but I hope it will work out. It will work out well.
Patrick's play, the theme is religion, suicide, sexuality. This is an area that we don't usually like to talk about, especially as Zimbabweans. He's writing from experiences, maybe of people he knows. And in order to do this, he has to search deep inside and go to certain uncomfortable places that he might not want to go to. And then unfortunately, for this to be believable, he has to go to those places.
This is my, it's my baby, and I'm about to then, offer my baby up, some sort of a sacrifice, so to speak. And then you have people now, either tearing it apart, asking those questions, maybe some questions that I'm not yet ready to answer, but I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to help me make it better, but I honestly am nervous. I'm scared. I really am scared.
For playwrights to have a space, like a sacred space, to develop, to create, to throw things out, to find out what doesn't work, to learn how their play does work, how it sounds. You don't know your story, what story you're telling, till you hear it actually spoken.
I don't think there's any other way of developing a play, because as far as I can see, this is the best way. You can't do it any other way, because when you're writing, you need other people's voices.
You've no right. You have no right to do this to me.
When you start a work, you want to do well. And the response that I got from the crowd, from the audience, it was more than I could ever ask for.
It's very crucial to have a community to be able to, like what we just saw, the audience is giving response, because the audience is the last character in a play and kind of activates it.
It's been incredible. Just looking at from when we started on Wednesday, the 3rd, up to now, the amount of work that the writers have done.
The themes that we're seeing in these 3 rooms are very specific to Zimbabwe, but all very different from one another. And that's so powerful, because we do have so many stories to tell that haven't been told yet.
We do need to put in the work. And when you put in the work, the results show.
Their plays are better, they're clearer, they really have deepened. And the actors have brought so much.
I mean, with the playwrights, my job, I feel like, has been to challenge them and kind of question every decision that they make and be brutal with them in terms of I feel like it was a good opportunity for them to be able to understand the concept of, being brutal with yourself as a playwright, and just taking them through a process where they understand that it's a process. You might write a play and be precious with it, but I'm going to be there as the sounding board, as the mirror, and just be like, okay, this is what you have.
From the first reading, many notes came out of it. Things people are saying okay, we feel this is in there, we feel this is in there. Can you go deeper?
The first difficulty maybe was trying to get Patrick to open up. That was really hard because the story meant a lot to him. I think by going into places that were uncomfortable, the story was very human. It touched on things that we don't normally like to talk about.
The kitchen was now my sanctuary, away from the dramaturgs, away from the director, away from the cast, but they still found me there. They still came.
Everyone was kind of asking questions. We needed relationships clarified. We needed to know what objectives were. And yesterday's reading of the new draft, the actors were shocked by what the play was. And I think that Patrick did one of those really radical, cut to the bone edits.
It was a Tuesday, Wednesday. That's when I decided to just jump into it. And then I was like, okay, let me just let it go and see what happens. And it was a difficult process to get me to be that brave in just 10 days. I was anxious. As people started coming through, I'm like, oh my gosh, you people go home. You know, there's nothing to watch here. And the place got so packed. I was like, where did these people come from? You know, why are they here? And then, during the show, I was like, okay. And then afterwards, I felt a release. I was like, oh, maybe that's why I was just weeping afterwards, because a release just came and I was like, yay.
That is the beauty of this space, is that you see things being birthed and you see artists growing and maturing and their craft blossoming.